Abdullah Ibn Abbas, Razi Allah Anhu, was a distinguished companion of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and a prominent scholar of Islam. His full name was Abdullah bin Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib bin Hisham bin Abd Manaf Qurashi Hashimi. He was the paternal cousin of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the maternal cousin of Khalid bin Walid, Razi Allah Anhu. Born approximately 3 years before the Hijrah, around 619 CE, he was only 13 when the Prophet, peace be upon him, passed away. He was also the nephew of Maymuna bint al-Harith, Razi Allah Anha, who later became one of the mothers of the believers. Known as the Sea of Knowledge, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Razi Allah Anhu, was among the earliest scholars of the Quran. He memorized around 1,666 sayings, hadiths, of the Prophet, peace be upon him, which are recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. At birth, his mother took him to the Prophet, peace be upon him, who placed some of his saliva on the baby's tongue before he began to suckle. This marked the beginning of a lifelong bond between them. As he grew, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Razi Allah Anhu, dedicated himself to the Prophet's service, fetching water for ablution, standing behind him in prayer, and accompanying him on journeys. He was always in close proximity to the Prophet, peace be upon him, earning him a deep understanding of his teachings. The Prophet, peace be upon him, once embraced him and prayed, "O Allah, teach him wisdom and the correct interpretation of the book." Ibn Majah 166. This supplication was fulfilled, as Abdullah ibn Abbas Razi Allah Anhu became renowned for his expertise in Quranic interpretation, earning the title Prince of Exegetes. During the Prophet's, peace be upon him, lifetime, he attended all gatherings and memorized his words. After the Prophet's passing, he actively sought knowledge, learning from the senior companions. If he heard that someone knew a hadith he had not yet learned, he would go to them, sometimes waiting outside their homes in the heat to avoid disturbing them. His dedication to verifying knowledge was meticulous, often consulting up to 30 companions to confirm a single matter. His commitment extended beyond hadith. He studied various disciplines, showing great respect for scholars like Zayd ibn Thabit, Razi Allah Anhu, an expert in Quranic revelation, inheritance laws, and judicial matters. Despite his noble lineage, Abdullah, Razi Allah Anhu, humbly served and learned from scholars, embodying the Islamic tradition of seeking knowledge. His intelligence, eloquence, and knowledge were widely acknowledged. Masruq ibn al-Ajda described him as the most handsome, eloquent, and knowledgeable of men. Caliph Umar ibn Khattab, Razi Allah Anhu, frequently sought his counsel on state matters, calling him the young man of maturity. Abdullah ibn Abbas, Razi Allah Anhu, left a lasting legacy as one of Islam's greatest scholars, dedicating his life to preserving and interpreting the teachings of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Razi Allah Anhu, described Abdullah ibn Abbas, Razi Allah Anhu, with these words: "I have never seen anyone quicker in understanding, more knowledgeable, or possessing greater wisdom than Ibn Abbas. I witnessed Umar, Razi Allah Anhu, summoning him to discuss complex issues in the presence of the veterans of Badr from among the Muhajirin, emigrants of Makkah, and Ansar, Muslim residents of Medina. Ibn Abbas would speak, and Umar would always value his insights." These exceptional qualities earned Abdullah ibn Abbas, Razi Allah Anhu, the title of the learned man of this Ummah. However, he was not content with simply acquiring knowledge. He felt a profound responsibility to educate others. His house became a center of learning, attracting students eager to deepen their understanding of Islam. The response to his teaching was overwhelming. One of his companions described the scene outside his home. "I saw people crowding the streets leading to his house until there was barely any space left in front of it. When I informed him of the large gathering, he asked for water to perform wudu, ablution, then seated himself and said, 'Go out and announce, whoever wishes to ask about the Quran and its pronunciation, let them enter.' I did as he instructed, and people entered until the house was full. Whatever was asked, Abdullah, Razi Allah Anhu, answered in detail, often adding more than what was requested. Then he said, 'Make way for your brothers.' After that, he instructed me to announce, 'Whoever wishes to ask about the Quran and its interpretation, let them enter.' Again, people filled the house, and he explained with depth and clarity, offering even more insight than expected. This continued with different groups coming to discuss fiqh, jurisprudence, halal and haram, permissible and forbidden matters in Islam, inheritance laws, Arabic language, poetry, and etymology. To ensure structured learning and avoid overcrowding, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Razi Allah Anhu, designated specific days for different subjects. One day was dedicated to the interpretation of the Quran, another to jurisprudence, and separate days were set aside for the prophets, peace be upon him, military campaigns, poetry, and pre-Islamic Arab history. His teaching was distinguished by his sharp memory, profound intellect, and logical explanations. His arguments were compelling, always supported by textual evidence and historical facts. During the Caliphate of Uthman ibn Affan, Razi Allah Anhu, Abdullah Ibn Abbas, Razi Allah Anhu, gained significant social and political influence. The Caliph entrusted him with leading the Hajj pilgrimage in 35 Hajj. This responsibility resulted in his absence from Medina when Caliph Uthman, Razi Allah Anhu, was assassinated. Following this, he aligned himself with Ali ibn Abi Talib, Razi Allah Anhu, who often appointed him as an ambassador and later as the governor of Basra. In his later years, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Razi Allah Anhu, lost his eyesight and settled in Taif, where he passed away in 60 at the age of 71. He remained devoted to worship throughout his life, regularly observing voluntary fasts and spending nights in prayer. While reading the Quran, particularly verses about death, resurrection, and the hereafter, he would weep deeply, his voice heavy with emotion.